I am Andrea Ervay. For those of you who don't know me, I am one of the co-hosts for The Collective, which is a mentorship program for our female entrepreneurs who are either just getting started on their business, maybe they have an idea and they're in that ideation phase where they want help in planning it out or looking to scale from that side gig to, a full-time business. So, Melinda, please share a little bit. We can start with your background of how you got into business and how you became an entrepreneur. And we can always take questions, or I can ask you some questions following up on your story. So, kick
Sure,
off.
probably since I was 5, quite frankly. I grew up with a family-owned business, and my dad ran it out of the front of the house. And when the phone rang, he said, "Somebody answer that phone." So I answered the phone, and I started then. And I learned a lot about business. I always believed through osmosis. My parents worked together and they talked about it a lot. And they had 1099 sales reps that would sell all over the country. And that's probably where it started, but I didn't know it then. I would have never, I had no, it was just what I did. When you're a kid, that's just what you do. So I didn't actually start my first business until 2006 or '07. And I started it from scratch. At the time I was married and I piggybacked off of his business. And I started a logoed apparel and promotional product company and I had 2 young kids. So it was a lot to juggle and a lot to do. So if that resonates with anybody out there, which I'm sure it does, because it's a lot to be a full-time mom and a full-time worker, employee, entrepreneur, whatever you're doing, it's important, right? So I started learning how to balance family and work. But I quickly grew my business from 0 to about 500,000 in sales. And then I grew that business to about 6 million in sales when I ultimately left. Because ultimately I ended up leaving my business partner and ex-husband at the same time, and then changed my whole life and pivoted, which is a huge message for me. I believe so much that you have to, or you get to sit and decide what your intention is and what you want. And if you're not creating what you want, really get clear on what you want and then pivot and go the other way, much like your technology problem at the beginning here, right? That's such a common thing that happens. And being in sales for so long, technology in the beginning, when I first started doing things, I would practice and practice and practice, and it still didn't go right. So you just take another pivot and change it. So fast forward to that happened in about 2018. So it's been about 7 years. So it's amazing what 7 years really can do and how different one can be. And I have created my current business now, which is MR Consulting, which is my marketing full service agency division of my company. And then I have my sales division, which is my Melinda Rae, which is speaking, sales workshops, training, really whatever a client needs, it's in the business development arena. But they work great together, because just because you get leads doesn't mean you know how to necessarily close the deals, take care of them, have the confidence to do it, being able to walk through some of the uncomfortables, making sure you have a plan and all of those things. So I don't know. Do you have any questions from there? I don't want to just keep
Oh,
rambling
great. Awesome.
forever.
Well, I'm curious when I love drawing that alignment of what we learned when we were in our formative years
Yeah.
to who we are now
Yeah.
as whether it's an entrepreneur or, C-level exec or what have you. I think that there are so many things that we learn where you don't realize you've pulled it along all the way to where you are now. So
Yes.
you said you were answering the phone for your dad. What kind of message or what kind of, I guess, experience do you feel that you had that you now take today in business?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, and I think some things you're natural at as well as just a human, but they pull those out of you, right? When you're having those experiences. And my dad was very disciplined. He worked from the front of the house in the beginning, but once all of us, there were 4 of us, graduated and moved out, they got an office. They only did that so they could be close and home and available, like to have dinner and then go back to work. But he was very disciplined. So I say all that about my dad because he set really strong boundaries on work hours. And I just realized it's like 4 years ago, I do exactly what my dad did. I mean, I work during work hours. I want to have a personal time with friends and my family and all of those things. But he literally said to the neighbors, I don't care if you need a couch moved or something happened. I am at work between 8 and 5. I am not available for just a quick little favor or something. And that's a boundary and honoring and respecting his intention of work and doing the best that he could. What else did I? My mom too. My mom raised us. And my dad did too, but back then my mom really raised us, but she would work until 2 in the morning. So she did all the international sales, and that's why she would stay up late. So learned a very good work ethic to just, I remember saying to my mom one time, I don't feel like doing that. She said, you will never feel like doing it. So just do it. One thing I found in my first business, one of my sales reps, I was giving him some probably unsolicited advice, but I was giving him some advice. And he just said, how do you know that? And I said, I don't know. I really do think I just learned by being around it. I learned customer service. I learned what that really means. It's not, for me, it's I would want it done the way I would want it done. And so I look at that always for everything with my clients. If I were in their shoes, how would I want to be taken care of? What would I want to know? I would want to make it easy for the client and a little harder for me. When sometimes people don't do it that way. I don't know, go to the grocery store. They don't make it easier for the person walking through the line, just a little example that we all know. So,
They make it easier to pick other things up to buy. That's
yes.
what their goal is. Yeah. Well, that's great. It sounds like your parents really gave you some amazing tools and characteristics that you've been able to employ in your endeavors since. And I think that is so great because having that support system and whatever that looks like, whether it is your parents or boyfriend, husband, girlfriend, wife, having a support system of somebody that can kind of help you through and just having that feedback. Am I on the right track? For me, I've been lucky to have a great support system, but in addition to that, I've had awesome mentors and people who have kind of done it before me to guide me sometimes when I'm feeling a little bit getting that itch. Should I go this way? Should I go that way? So I love what you said about getting intentional about that pivot. So who, in addition to your parents, have kind of helped you with your journey? Have you had any mentors or business coaches?
Sure. And it's funny because I say this all the time. I don't do anything alone. I've never done anything alone in my life ever. And I mean, my business is structured around team. And in fact, a lot of my company, my full service agency is structured around experts in each component of what I need. So social, I have 3 different people for social. I have, graphic designers, video production, website. So it's full service, everything that they would need. I mean, sometimes my daughter's my mentor, just showing up 100% as herself. I don't know. I didn't always do that as a young teenager. I was like, oh, I love that song too. When in real truth, I didn't. I just wanted that person to like me. But
Yes.
she's never done that. So I quit doing that. But I work with a guy named Jack, who's my video person, and I've been working with him since 2008. And I mean, I was just texting him earlier today, and he has shown me, I mean, I think I'm a good friend and I know I have integrity. I know I'm authentic. I'm going to tell you the truth and I can be direct. He does all those things, but a little softer and kinder. And he's 100% stayed behind me and championed when I've had doubts because you don't go through what somebody goes through that I went through and not have doubts about things and am I doing the right thing? I have a business coach I worked with named Amy Christieson, who's also done the same thing. Has helped me get unstuck. But sometimes I don't know why Bob Schneider keeps coming to my head. He was one of my first clients at Time Warner Cable that turned into Spectrum. And then that ended up being a really nice account for me. And he did it in a way of challenging me to grow as opposed to just staying where I am and saying, you can do that. I mean, but now he's my friend but he challenged me as a client. One of my mentors, honestly, was probably my ex-husband, who we don't really talk to each other anymore, but we were really, really very, very good business partners. Our talents or our things that we were good at really mirrored and worked for each other. And he was over there and I was over here. That, and he never once questioned what I was doing, and I never once questioned what he was doing. And that worked really well as well. And he kind of pushed me. I kind of get pushed by people. That seems to be Sometimes I was just felt like I was pushed off a cliff and I would have to figure out how to do it. And anybody who's in business for themselves, as you know, and I'm sure you say to people all the time, you have to figure it out or find somebody who knows how to do it. Because otherwise you don't do I get caught in that all the time. I'm like, why am I not doing this? And I finally go, I don't know how. I
Mhm.
don't know how to do it. So I either got to pay somebody to do it or not do it, but something has to happen. So I'm really inspired today by the people I have around me in general. That's one thing that I really also got intentional about was what qualities do I want? I
Mhm.
want people that do what they say they're going to do. I mean, my Dan, my boyfriend now, he does what he says he's going to do when he says he's going to do it. My clients that I work with do that. They do it with integrity, with kindness, with laughter, and sometimes maybe frustration, but that's just a frustration, doesn't have to be a big deal. So
Mhm.
that's
Yeah,
how I feel.
that's great. I love it. And I
Mhm.
think that the more you do, like we were saying, surrounding ourselves with that tribe or support system or people that have the same qualities of growth mindset, I think that really propels you forward and you feel aligned with your mission and how you are ultimately impacting others. And it's kind of like that ripple effect, right?
Yeah.
So what are you
Yeah.
looking forward to right now? Do you have a big project you're working on? Do you have something you're looking forward to in your personal life? What do you have right now that you feel a spark of excitement about?
Well, I really love my new client I'm working with, but I don't know how much I can say on here
Yeah.
about them, but they are really two amazing people and they do all the things I just said. And I just really enjoy being around them. They have a lot of integrity, kindness, all of that. And so I'm excited. It's a new business. They have a current one and I just can't wait to see where it goes. I'm so excited to be part of it and have my whole team's working on it and they're all in love with them too. So
Yeah.
that is exciting. I mean, that's a very exciting because it can go the other way where it's not at all like that. So it's very, very exciting. I'm focusing on my business and right now and restructuring it a little bit so that I do more of my speaking and Melinda Rae, I call it sales leadership, but really it's partner leadership because again, that whole thing, we don't do anything alone and
Like,
to connect those things a little bit more. That's
mhm.
what I'm excited. And really, I've had a lot of transformation. That's sort of my word and it will probably forever be my word, but it's not as sludgy. My transformation now is more free. I mean, because that's hard to do. And I wouldn't recommend changing your whole life at once to anybody. It's not easy. But I'm looking forward to sort of a freer transformation and change that's fun and growth that's fun and cheerful.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that some people are scared of change or reluctant to letting go of certain things in their life. But I think that it, like you said, it frees it up and it makes it so it's more fluid when you're moving forward in that transformation. You're not feeling like oh, the burden of whatever you're getting rid of. But in fact, you're finding things that maybe are opening doors for you or
Yeah.
things that are inspiring you differently or you look at things a little bit differently. I like that the word freeing through that
Yeah.
transformation. And that's actually a lot of what we talk about too in the collective is that butterfly is our logo, our imagery of that transformation and our colors exude, calmness but also inspiration and rebirth. So I'm all for the
Perfect.
yeah,
Yeah.
all for the transformation and finding
You
what
know,
that next step is.
it's like even in sales, it's uncomfortable. I've been doing sales for a long time. I never wanted to be in sales ever.
Mhm.
That's because like I think a lot of people have that where they think, oh, it's like the used car salesman. I'm selling them something they don't need, but it's all a mindset. The truth is, don't sell them what they don't need. Sell them only if they need it, if it's going
Like
to solve their problem or not. And so I do a lot of work, and I'm sure we might do similar in mindset,
mhm.
in quiet moments, in pausing. I do so much less go, 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 and a lot more settle down, calm down, and it will all work out. Transform and the world's transforming right now. I mean, things are just changing rapidly around us. I feel like I just talked to I had to get my car inspected. I talked to a woman today And she was like, the world is just different than it used to be. I'm like, it is, you know, it is, but it was different. It's different than it was in 1920 too. You know, like everything changes and being able to adapt that. And I think one of the things I love that you just said was releasing the past, like to give up all hope that you could change the past. That's very freeing to be able to do that as well.
Yeah, and I think that the world definitely is changing at a very rapid speed, but the word adapt is one of my words. It's, like you said at the beginning of our call, that pivot. And when you're ready to make that change, if you can adapt, then you will excel. If you kind of are a little bit resistant to the change, then you might feel that stickiness. You might feel like
Sure.
yeah. Well, any last words of wisdom for our entrepreneurs who are just getting started or might be scaling in their business? What would you tell them?
I mean, my first thing is always vision, like get clear on what it is that you want and then devise a plan to do that. The old make a plan, work a plan, but and ask for support and I mean, talk to people like you and me, you know, whichever one, whoever, whatever you need, you know, like find people that fill what you need to have help with or support with. Because, you know, I mean, I need help with my bookkeeping for sure, you know, like that kind of thing, like not, because not everybody's going to have your answer. And you're really listen to your own self, be authentic, of course, come from integrity and trust the process. It's going to probably be a lot longer than you think. Things don't happen as quickly as we want them to, but to be in the moment because they're fun when you finally do sit in them. That would be my today advice. Who knows what I would come up with tomorrow?
That's great. That's great. And I think that, you shared a lot of golden nuggets throughout our conversation. So thank you so much for sharing with our audience and, just having a conversation with me. I think it's even without the camera, we kind of talk this way and talk about
Yes.
things that work and don't work. And I think it's just great to surround yourself with people such as yourself who can kind of, have those conversations. And you are very real and authentic, and I appreciate it.
Andrea, thank you for thinking of me and inviting me to come chat with you. It means a lot.
Of course. Yeah, anytime. Well,
Yes.
thanks so much, Melinda. We appreciate you. All
Thanks. Talk to you soon.
right.
Bye.